Okay. BCA-101, Introduction to Computers. Today is the 9th. Yeah, what are we on? Week 11, 12. Alright, we start off today. This is just a reminder how to log in if they're going to use Windows 8 in the classroom. We talked about attacks. Who can attack? It's pretty much anyone anymore, and they can do it from anywhere. And we talked about an attack pattern. We talked about reconnaissance. We actually talked quite a bit about that. We looked at some examples of just looking at things with Google. You can ping to find IP addresses. You can look up any company that's in the stock market that's incorporated. You can find tons of information about who and where and what, federal records. So you can do reconnaissance. You can find out lots of information and dig into lots of things, and eventually then you can start develop a way to access equipment, and that can be done by phishing. You know, you can gather information, trick people into giving you information and so forth. Once you're in, you look for people. You can put in a backdoor and erase the log so they can't track who was there. Look for a way to what they call escalate your privileges. Somebody types in a key password while you're hacked in. You see that, so forth. Then we talked about how to access. We authenticate, 3 ways to authenticate. Okay. You can authenticate by something you are, something you have, or something you know. Like you can check your eyes, your handprint, fingerprint, so forth. Something you have, you might have a card or a fob or something. A good example here would be a debit card, credit card. Something you know, that would be a key, a PIN, a password, so forth. So we typically authenticate with some combination of that, and nowadays they're looking at a 2-factor communications, having at least a couple ways, couple things in order for you to authenticate. Once you authenticate, then you're authorized, and that gives you what you can do to what, okay, what kind of rights you have. And then we gave the example, the difference from logging in to, let's get a little crowded there, Windows 10 versus Windows 8. You have a lot more rights at Windows 8. And then there's auditing or accounting. You kept track of what you did, okay, who logs in, what they can do, and then what did they do. And we next then talked about data cryptography, this whole idea of being able to take data, change it based on an algorithm so that other people can't see it, read it, and so forth. We talked about 2 major areas. We talked about encrypting data, and you can encrypt and then take it and decrypt. Okay? You can encrypt it, keep it on a hard drive, then decrypt it when you need to use it. Hashing is another thing. Hashing, you can take data and hash it into it'd be a fixed length hash. It's always the same length depending on the hashing algorithm. This is what's used for passwords. Companies don't keep your password. What they do is when you type in a password, it hashes it, then stores the hash. Then when you have to use the password, you type it again, it hashes it again and compares it against the hash to see if it matches. Nowhere's of any reputable business store passwords. They just hash them and use that method. And then to finish up, I talked a little bit about Alan Turing back in World War II. He had the Turing machine. He broke the German code before D-Day, and sad part about him is he was gay, and there was laws against gay back then, and he ended up taking his own life. And now, just in the last month or so, they passed a new law removing some of the restrictions on legality of gays in England. So then we did some examples with an encryption algorithm and a key. I took and we encrypted a file based on a key. We copied it over and then decrypted it. Then we created a hash, copied the hash over, and we could check the hash to check data integrity. That's used all the time. You can take a message you're going to send, you can hash it, and then encrypt it, send it. When it gets to the other end, you can send over the hash, decrypt it, then hash it, and compare those two hashes. If they match, the data couldn't have been changed. It's impossible. If they don't match, then it was changed for sure. Hashes can be used for digital signatures. We'll talk a little bit about the next time. So this was an example. I encrypted a short message and used this as the passphrase, or you could call it a password or a key, and then we used it to decrypt it on the other end. P.S. This is just a reminder of the server internally in the room that we are using for class. Well, that's it for today.